السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، وبرحب فيكم بهيدي الحلقة الخاصة والاستثنائية اللي حنستضيف فيها ضيف فرنسي، صحفي فرنسي مستر جوليان، أسلم قبل 10 سنوات. وطبعا ما حنحكي عن قصة إسلامه أكثر ما حنحكي عن نقطة مهمة كتير لفت لي نظري إلى لما تعرفنا قبل فترة. كنا قاعدين بأحد المقاهي وقال لي إنه لازم أنتم العرب تحذروا من الشخص يلي بيتظاهر إنه هو أسلم، وخاصة إنه أنتم عاطفيين بهذا المجال وبتحبوا قصص اللي بيأسلموا. في بعض الناس بيأسلموا لأهداف معينة، بيتظاهروا بالإسلام. هنحكي بالتفصيل عن هيدا الموضوع. Thank you Mr. Jolian for joining my channel to talk about this important topic.
Thank you for your invitation.
Welcome. First, before we start talking about this main topic, I would like first, if you can, briefly introduce yourself to the followers.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I became a Muslim in 2012. I'm from France. I was in the Philippines when this happened. I took my Shahada in front of my computer after months of research. Prior to becoming a Muslim, I was a singer-songwriter. I also traveled around the world as an international reporter. I published some reports in The Economist, the New York Times Magazine. So I'm well versed into geopolitical things and I'm passionate about the world. I speak 4 languages. And right after I became Muslim, I started to focus on taking care of new Muslims around the world, because I realized that after the Shahada, sometimes new Muslims are left alone without support, and it's something that I found a lot of passion into.
And you also have a message to introduce Islam to the West, as I
yes, of course. Being French myself and European, I thought it was important to use my skills in communication to address all the issues that the people from the West are concerned about Islam, and to make them understand Islam is a very positive religion and it has a lot to offer to the world.
So first question, Mr. Jolian, what do you think the reason that can let someone show that he or she is Muslim and becoming a convert to Islam and the reality is not? What can let such people to do like this, in your opinion?
So it's an interesting question. There are many reasons why someone will want to become Muslims, other than for pure faith and because of his sincerity to become Muslim. Of course, most of converts become Muslim out of love for Islam, but there's a new phenomena that I've noticed myself with my team. Is first the desire to become famous. There are a lot of people who are using Islam to make a lot of views on YouTube, because we have to understand we represent 20% of viewers online. So anybody wants to make a quick buzz or get the attention of the Muslims, they just need to talk about Islam. For example, make a video reaction about the Quran, just cry a little bit, and automatically they're going to get thousands of views, because as Muslim, we like to see non-Muslim being touched by Islam.
Especially we Arabs, when we hear about Islam stories, we become so much emotional. We start supporting those contents, spreading them.
Yes.
So maybe using that point, like...
So this phenomena has been noticed a couple of years ago already, and the non-Muslim have realized that there's a market to grow on YouTube. So you have Christians, you have even atheists who are doing videos about Islam just to get attention. Now, of course, some of them are sincere and they are looking for the truth.
Yeah.
But also some of them are here for making quick bucks and quick fame. So for example, in my country recently, I noticed someone was starting to talk about Islam, about Quran recitation, and suddenly this person had so many followers, and I was shocked, because I believe it's the first person to do that in France. And this is the formula now, so if this happened, and it kind of like make it, it's something that is new.
But of course we cannot say 100%. We are just, you mean like we should be careful, having doubts about it. It's not that maybe it happened that someone is really showing this, but also honest.
Yeah, of course. Some people are honest, and of course there are signs that shows that sometimes the person is using Islam. We just have to be careful, because as we talked about, people can give a lot of powers with the views, with the amount of hours they are watching something, with the subscription. So It's just something that we realized, and now a lot of people are becoming famous. Just
we need to test those people, to give them some time to see
yes.
in the coming month, after 1 year, 2 years of becoming Muslim, what is their ideas, how they react to major things in Ummah, and like this we can know.
Just to give you an example, in my time, so 10 years ago, I didn't talk about my Shahada for 1 year. I kept it secret, for 1 year. Why? Because when you become Muslim, there are a lot of challenges comes to you. And my followers, I was doing music, they were Christians. So I didn't want to reveal I was Muslim yet. So it took me time to reveal. So in the past, when someone a bit famous like me became Muslim, we try to hide it. Because we don't want to, this is our private life. But now the new phenomena is that people once, after 24 hours they took Shahada, they want to start to talk about it. So
what are other reasons other than
other than fame and making money? There is a small niche, but something we should not be naive about is that there are people who are taking Shahada to infiltrate Islam. This is not something new. It used to happen in the time of the Ottomans.
Yes, exactly. When during the Ottoman, it was the spies especially from UK.
Correct.
They were like famous names even.
Yes, there was
Lawrence, Arab Lawrence, they call him.
Exactly, Lawrence
Arabi. Muslim, and then it was known that.
So there were spies from both sides actually. There was Muslims who were spying for the sake of the Ottomans in Europe, as Christians, but they were Muslim. Like some, they stayed 30 years as a priest in a church.
What is the purpose of those spies? Like, do they want to interfere in the Muslim community, try to make introduce some shaitan, like thoughts,
ideas?
Back
in the day, it was more to have information because there was no internet. So it was more to have information between both camps. Now it's a new phenomena. It's not necessary to have information because with internet we know almost everything. But it's more to penetrate the mind of the youth. So let's say you are saying you become Muslim and automatically you're getting millions of followers. And then you can start to interpret Islam in a way that the youth, the young Muslim who have little knowledge, they will follow.
For example, saying that hijab is not in Islam.
For example, recently I heard someone saying, where is it says in the Quran that you should wear a beard? So why should I wear a beard? And this person shaved the beard he had. Although we know that it's a sunnah, right? This person has a lot of followers and he became Muslim.
Or maybe supporting certain thing which is against our religion.
Yes.
Especially in those days like LGBT and things like that.
Anything that can go against our laws and things. At the beginning, the person will say truthful things about Islam to get trust, and after 6 months he will change his narrative. Automatically you're gonna get my attention, and then I'm gonna think, oh, you're on my side, and then down the line you're gonna say things that are away from our tradition.
So to briefly just say it to the followers, يعني طبعا الفكرة هون بدنا نوصلكم إياها. أكيد مش كل شخص بيأسلم إنه لازم هو يكون عم يأسلم ويتظاهر بالإسلام، ولكن لازم نكون حذرين. يعني مش أي شخص بيقول أنا أسلمت دغري نتعاطف معه، نعطيه وقت، نفحص تصرفاته، ننتظر أشهر، سنة، سنتين، نشوف مواقفه من قضايا الأمة، نشوف شو الأهداف اللي هل هو فعلا أسلم لحتى يخترق المجتمع المسلم، لحتى مثلا ينشر أفكار ضد الإسلام بشكل مخفي، أو مثلا إن كان الهدف الأول اللي هو المادة والشهرة. فالمهم إنه نحن نعطي فرصة، نعطي وقت لهالشخص لحتى نقدر نحكم هل ندعم هالشخص أم لا. So this is what I say. We have to give time for such people to test them and see how they react to major issues in the Islamic Ummah, and then we can see whether we should support them or not.
And like it happened to me even myself. When I was traveling in the Arab world, the first few years, the first years of my life as a Muslim, some people thought I could be a spy. So this is a reality, they thought, who is this guy? We don't know him. He's a white guy. So, okay, now I've been Muslim for 10 years. I'm married. I have children. I think I proved that I'm real, But the thing is that even myself, I was also questioned, and people had suspicion, they're asking. Up until now, actually, I gave an interview not too long ago, and the person was like, I'm not too sure. Although I think I proved myself long enough, that I'm a serious Muslim.
The idea that we have, if there is one negative example, it can affect 100 and let you be suspicious from 100 positive examples. This is unfortunately happening. And maybe I should add something that because really now there is a lot of people becoming Muslims, so maybe the West also want to use this phenomena. So they don't just want to watch and look.
They want to participate in the...
Exactly.
And also it makes sometimes conversion look cheap, Like for me, if you're asking me, the most beautiful thing in my life is to experience a shahada. I will die for this. I love it. Like this feeling, because I've been there. But now I see...
Because you feel it is like a new life.
It's a life-changing experience. There's nothing more precious than a shahada. For me, this is I will pay for this, to experience this. Sometimes I miss it. When someone take a shahada live, I love it. So it is something all Muslims love, and especially Arabs, because you love Islam so much. But at the end of the day, now we are experiencing so many shahada left and right online by famous people, and some of them are sincere, some are not. And it kind of make it lose value, because everybody takes shahada, everybody enter in Islam very fast, but they leave Islam very fast too. We don't talk about this phenomena. There's a lot of people who took the shahada, some famous YouTubers who are no longer Muslims. And this have been happening also. So it makes everybody confused. So it's all about not rushing, and me, I'm taking my time. We do interview converts in our channel. But now I decided to take my time, especially when someone becomes famous. I want him to prove it himself or herself. Like you were asking me, what are the signs?
Because you are making a film about new converts, each one telling him his story. So you are also being careful.
And I experienced myself. Actually, I invited people in my film that I realized they were not so sincere. They wasted my time. I realized that they were not sincere about this work. They broke contracts, they broke agreements, which never happened to me before, Even contract we signed, they didn't respect because they don't care. So that's why I decided I'm no longer going to interview famous converts. They have to prove themselves.
So what we can understand that being suspicious of some kind of those who show they are Muslims and are not, are mainly from the famous people, we can say, not from normal people, your neighbor or, like someone. Because someone who is just not famous, why he should show?
There are spies who are not famous, but they can also penetrate communities to spy on a masjid. This is very famous in the West. So I would say in general, we should never be suspicious of our brothers and sisters who accept Islam, but we should not be naive.
We should be careful.
We should just be careful. Islam is a balanced religion. But that's why I'm always waiting. Recently there's a couple of famous people who became Muslim. Immediately people share left and right. Me, I just waited for the dust to settle. So,
Mr. Julian, in your opinion, what do you think if we can have just a quick signs that we should be careful about? Since you are a convert since 10 years, maybe you can let us notice things that we couldn't notice as people who were born as Muslims. At what points or signs we should look in order to be suspicious about someone if he is really showing Islam or an honest Muslim?
So regarding the signs of someone who pretends to be Muslim but actually is not, there are a few, but for me it's all about lifestyle. So when you become Muslim, slowly your lifestyle must change. If the lifestyle of a person that said publicly is a Muslim is still the same, I'm not even talking about praying Salah. It took me 1 month to pray 5 times per day. So we're not even judging that. We're not judging how much Quran he knows. We're talking about is this person stop his bad habits like drinking alcohol, going to nightclub,
fasting,
womanizing. So all those are signs to show that this person is not serious about Islam. Of course, once the person gets married to another Muslim, that's a good sign he's on the right track because it's a strong commitment. Otherwise, it can become just lip serving. If someone, especially a man, become Muslim and is a very attractive man, he's very famous, and after many years he's still not married. So what is he doing in his life? So me, for example, one of the first things I try to do is to get married as soon as possible. Although it took me more than a year, but the point is that a man who is famous will not want to stay forever single.
Or if a woman become Muslim, we cannot say that directly she has to wear hijab, but if it is maybe several years passed and she's not wearing hijab.
Yeah, after a
here
while,
we have
of course, in Malaysia, for example, like they say you're a new Muslim for 5 years. So I don't know in the Arab world, but there's a criteria. So 5 years is a long time, but I would say the first year you have a lot of you have to be patient with the people.
Yeah.
But after 1 year, after one Ramadan, if things are not changing, the person is still having a lifestyle that is crazy and not respecting anything about Islam, then it starts to become a bit suspicious, But of course, for the first weeks, for me, for example, I was consuming riba for 1 year. I didn't know. You know what I mean? So we have to be patient, but we cannot be also naive, and we just have to be giving space. The problem with Shahada online, you're not giving space to the person, and the person also put a tremendous pressure on himself or herself, because then once you take a Shahada live, you have to walk the talk. You have to represent Islam now, Whereas the people who are not known, they have less pressure. But once you take your Shahada live and basically you become famous because of this, you have to represent Islam now. You have to become an ambassador. That's why personally I decided for 1 year to not say to anyone except my family, because I thought I cannot carry Islam. I cannot be a good ambassador yet. And I don't think I'm still yet a good ambassador after 10 years. So imagine, it's something very heavy, Yeah. Shahada is very heavy. But a lot of people, unfortunately, they use it like, it's just like a password for fame or for getting money.
Yeah, it's a good point you elaborate on. Mr. Jolien, we talked about those type of people who show they are Muslims and they are not, and that we should be careful about. But there is also something happening, I notice. Of course, there is a lot of people who really become a true and real, honest convert Muslims. But some of them, and it is not a minority, but it's like also a phenomena, once they become Muslim, they become very strict. Very strict, meaning that if they see even a small mistake from a Muslim, they will consider that he is not following Islam, and it's like not just 180 degree, but even by judging on others, like becoming very strict. In Islam, everything is clear, and Islam, we say in Arabic, al-wasat, we are in the middle. We are not very strict, and we are not very just, relaxed. And people can have mistakes, and we don't need to be very strict, in every small details. Let's say, for example, as Muslim, I have to eat with right hand, I have to drink with right hand. I don't have doubt in this. Of course, even Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he focused on this. But let's say I am taking a video and just, without noticing, I drink with left while I am taking video, and somebody maybe he say, how you are Muslim and you are doing this. I'm just giving you a small example. So what is your comment of the type of Muslims that become very strict in?
Well,
I think this is normal.
So it's a very interesting point you're making, because it is true that the majority of converts, when we become Muslim, and I was one of them, we tend to learn as a priority the rulings. So haram, halal. So we are very sensitive towards that. It's like when you enter in a new country, you try to understand the laws. So we are very picky on that. And when we see sometimes born Muslim not applying all of these laws, we are sometimes judging, So which can be annoying for born Muslim, because they feel like, you don't know so much. Now I can tell you, even new converts, they are starting to pick on me, because they are so excited. So I understand this phenomena. Unfortunately, we are not teaching the convert. What I think is the most important is the hikmah, wisdom, When you see someone not applying Islam, you have to say it in a way to him that is not going to break his heart. So, for example, there's a story of Hassan and Hussein, the two grandson of the Prophet ﷺ. They saw a man who were not doing his wudu properly. But instead of saying, hey, you're not doing your wudu properly, they were just talking among each other, saying, yeah, we should do wudu like this. And the old man heard the story. It's a famous hadith.
Yes, it's famous.
So it's the same results.
They didn't go and tell him, you are not, true Muslim because you didn't take ablution properly and all.
Exactly, because the old man will feel so bad. All his life he took ablution like that, and you're telling him he was wrong. So they are trying to make him understand in another way. And this is very important in Islam. I think there's a famous sheikh who said, it's better to break the Kaaba than the heart of a Muslim. Imagine. So this is something we need to take into consideration. Breaking the heart of a Muslim is very, very bad. which means we don't want to make the Muslim lose his honor, you know? But of course, sometimes you have to also be strict, and when someone is repeatedly doing something wrong, you must be strong. But when you don't know the person, especially when you're not so familiar with him, you have to make him understand how he could do it in other ways. So for example, if the person is eating or drinking with the left hand, you're drinking or eating with him, you're just keeping on with the right hand, and you make dua that he will follow you. And you try to hope that he will get it. And this is how we teach Islam in a subtle way. You know, so, but unfortunately, the Muslims, they have learned Islam sometimes the harsh way, and we project that to our families, which make it harder for them to accept Islam because they think there are so many rules. When in reality, as you said, Islam is the middle path, and it's actually an easier religion. You just have to give them people time, and after that, you're just applying all the rules without even thinking about it.
Thank you, Mr. Julian, for this interview. بالنسبة للمتابعين المشاهدين بحب لكم انه مستر جوليان عنده قناة على اليوتيوب، مثل ما قلنا هدفه يعرف الغرب على الإسلام، يجمع قصص من اللي أسلموا. إضافة even you have a video I think you are preparing about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
a new film called The Last Hope.
The Last Hope. And also there is a film about new converts with their stories.
Yes, freedom. So we are trying to translate everything in Arabic for our dear brothers and sisters, and hopefully you will like it inshallah.
فإذا حابين تعرفوا أكثر بمحتوى قناته فبتلاقوا الرابط بصندوق الوصف والتعليق المثبت. هيدا كل شيء وشكرا لكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم.